There are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. I'm Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. Join me as we talk digital marketing, social media, technology, and more, and share interviews with industry professionals to help you unlock the secrets and take control of your music career. Because we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. If you're with me for the first time, I want to say welcome and thank you for being here. If you are returning, if you've listened to previous episodes, I want to say thank you for coming back and spending some more time with me. I'm your host, Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. And again, I want to say welcome to the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. We're going to dive into today's episode where we're talking about the who, not the how to get stuff done faster. But before we do that, I just want to remind you that you can check out the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast on all of your favorite platforms, on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. And don't forget to also rate and review. That would be super helpful as we are trying to grow the podcast, and also feel free to share the podcast as well. So without further ado, we're going to be talking today about a concept called, or what's referred to as, the who and not the how. And this idea is basically, it kind of centers around how we can achieve and get things done faster. So as independent music artists, we wear many hats, right? And so we're writing, we're recording, we're doing our own social media, we're doing all of our own promotion and digital marketing and all that stuff. And some of that is necessary. You know what I mean? I know for myself, I write all my own music. I don't produce my own tracks, but I know some of you out there do. Maybe you also produce your own music, you mix, you master, you do all that stuff. So there are some things to where we are going to wear multiple hats in it, and it may just even be also just due to the fact that it's just kind of where we are. It's kind of where we are in our career, or where we are at this stage in our music career. But as you know, with the company, my company is called Business Minded Musicians, and that's a lot of what I am trying to encourage artists to do, is to take a business minded approach, take a business like approach to your music career. And in doing that, we have to kind of have, a lot of times we have to have a paradigm shift. We have to kind of think about things differently than maybe we've thought about them, or do things differently maybe than we've been doing them in the past. And so one of those things is to focus on the who and not the how. So what that boils down to is, we look at who can get things done, not so much how can I get it done. So let me repeat that. We're looking at who can get this thing done versus how can I get it done. So it's kind of taking some of those things off of our plates. And so the goal is basically just to get things done faster or more efficiently, so that we can ideally, hopefully, stay more connected to the things that really require us, that really require our time, our attention, our energy, like writing, for example, or recording, right? No one can go and record for you. That has to be, your voice, unless you're a songwriter, right? Then you're writing songs for other people. But basically, what we're trying to do again is we're trying to get things done faster, so that we can continue to move our business forward, and we don't get stagnant, we don't get stale, but also so that we can focus our attention on the things that really require us, especially more of those creative type things. And so the way that we can kind of break this down is first to prioritize your projects, your goals, etc. So what kind of makes the most sense to be focusing on right now? What needs attention? What requires attention? And that could be a variety of things. You could be like, hey, I'm working on this album. I need to get in the studio. I'm still writing some of the songs, but I also need to do some marketing. I want to do some interviews. I want to, get some of this other stuff going as well. So it might start with just, honestly, just writing things down. Where are you right now? Start jotting those things down and start prioritizing them. And then we're going to, look at the next step is reverse engineering, right? So saying, okay, if I know that, these are the things that I need to get done, these are the priorities. Now, how do I then step back, break those things down into, manageable chunks, and so that it doesn't seem as overwhelming, right? They always say, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. So how are we kind of breaking those things down so that it makes sense, in terms of how we can approach them? So that's kind of that reverse engineering, and then delineating and delegating, right? So how do we kind of, look at, can we delegate some tasks? Can we delineate certain things to say, hey, maybe I could hive this off, or maybe I could give this to someone else, or maybe someone else could work on this. And for me, I don't know that it's like a hard and fast rule, but I kind of look at it as to say, like, before you do that, you want to make sure you've done that thing first, right? Make sure you've gotten good at, social media or whatever, or have at least tried. Maybe it's your email marketing or something like that. A lot of those things are honestly going to be best coming from your voice, and there are going to be some things that may be better for someone else to do. So, for example, for me, I'm a digital marketer, so I could take that technical side of things and help someone, with their marketing and everything. So even if you haven't done it, if you haven't necessarily gotten your hands dirty with it yet, at least it'd be good to kind of have an idea about how it works, so that you can communicate some of your expectations and what you're kind of wanting to get out of that with whoever you're working with for that particular thing. And then on top of that, use technology and other resources, where possible. So is there, like I said, is there a piece of tech that you can use? Is there something that you can employ that helps you get these things done faster, whether it's a website, or, for example, one of the things that I'm going to be looking at that I've already kind of gotten, I'm kind of at that place where I'm maybe going to try it for the first time, is using a software that will take, my audio recordings, take this podcast, and then turn it into a transcript for me. So then that way I'm not going back through and listening and saying, okay, now let me type this whole thing out, but it'll do it for me. And then that way I can turn the podcasts into blogs, and, blog posts, and have, the actual text from them and stuff too. So again, that's kind of looking at that technology, having something else or someone else do it, so that, I can free myself up. Um, so some of the areas to consider when we're thinking about the who, right? When we're looking at, okay, who should I be looking at, and where are these, some of these areas that I can be looking for a who, right? For example, one of those things could be in, simply in terms of show booking. Shows are opening back up, festivals. So are you, maybe you could have someone else help you kind of do that, kind of sift through databases or websites, seeing who, what venues are still open, what festivals are still going, and maybe having someone kind of come alongside you to help you, submit for festivals, right? Some of you may be ready for an agent, right? Maybe you're ready for a booking agent, to help you get out there and book more gigs. So that's someone that's a who, right? That can help with that. Graphic and logo design or web design, right? I mean, those are things that, require a lot of times at least some type of technical skill, right? I mean, if you're not, well versed in Adobe Illustrator, or, all these graphic design things, maybe you want to hire someone else to do that. Maybe you want to bring someone else on to do that. My logo that I use still to this day was designed by a college student years and years and years ago, and I still use that logo today. And again, it was someone else who had done that. I've gotten better at some simple graphic design stuff, but again, when you can farm a little bit of that work out, it definitely can help you move things along a little bit faster. With web design, there are some tools out there now. I think web design has gotten a lot easier for kind of the average person. You know what I mean? There's a lot of drag and drop platforms, things like that. But one thing that's kind of a caveat to that is, and I see this with a lot of artists, that they don't actually have a merch store. So, being able to have someone that can put that together for you, that looks crisp and clean and professional, that is also something I do. I have a business called Merch Tower that I just started. It's a merch and marketing agency. So that's another one that you could look at to say, hey, could someone, put that together for me, so that I can, kind of focus on maybe just pushing the traffic towards that, pushing my fans, pushing my audience towards that store, where they can buy, some of this, new, fresh, stuff that I've got up there with my cool new, logos and designs that I had someone else make, right? Some other things you could look at are, music and lyric videos, video creation, video editing, music production. Again, I mentioned earlier, some of you may be producing your own music. If that's something that you do and that you love doing, and that's what you do in house, great. But there are a lot of times you can actually, find other people who produce music, and you can collaborate on that. And then obviously things like administrative tasks like paperwork, filing, organizing, data entry, CRM or customer relations management, that type of stuff. I saw an article not too long ago from a band called Icon for Hire, and I've actually met Ariel Bloomer before in Nashville. I don't know if she'd ever remember me, but I she was trying to take a selfie at a selfie wall at at a music conference, and I was like, "Do you want me to take that for you?" And quite honestly, I don't even know if I knew who she was then, which is kind of funny. But but she talked about, they actually hired someone, and it was great because they were able to focus more on the creative side of things when and having that admin person who could take up some of those other tasks. So that's something to consider. And then, you have like PR and media. So setting up radio interviews, setting up interviews with local media, newspapers, magazines, bloggers. If you have something coming out and you want to have bloggers review it, there are tons of resources out there where you can find bloggers. I have some links and different things if you check out our resources and stuff, where you can find access to a lot of these type of music related professionals and stuff too. So even having someone on that can do that, that's kind of where I am right now, and looking at moving towards is hiring people, bringing people on that could work in those specific areas. For me, this is just kind of my mindset, which could change, but it could be cool to maybe even hire someone that's a senior or just graduated from college, that's kind of in that journalism major, or kind of in that field that would PR and media would be right up their alley, and they may be looking for some opportunities, maybe kind of fresh out of college. And there's so many different systems now where you can make payment and payment processing to pay people so much smoother and efficiently. And again, it goes back to that technology piece as well. So that's something to consider, that PR and media. And so if this is something that you're considering, if this is where you are, or even if you're just like, hey, I just need kind of, one thing here and there are tons of resources out there. And one of the places that I would kind of, suggest to you as well, it's even just to start, is Fiverr. If you haven't ever visited, or if you're not familiar with Fiverr, it's Fiverr. And I'll drop a link in the show description, the show notes here. But it's an awesome resource for finding talented people. I mean, everything from web design to logo design. There are people in there that do NFT art, lyric videos, project management, data entry, virtual assistants. I mean, you have thousands of people from all over the world that have all these special gifts and abilities that they do. Whether it's copy edit or voiceover, or I mean, there's just so many services that people offer on Fiverr, and it's all secure and it's all safe. You're paying your money into Fiverr, and then they're protected, you're protected, so the funds are released, and then you're released your projects and everything too, and it all kind of works inside the Fiverr ecosystem, which is awesome. So again, I'll drop a link in the show notes for that if you want to check that out, and just to start to see who's out there and who's doing what. Could be great. And so again, what we're looking at here is, how do we focus on the who and not the how, right? Who can get this thing done? Who can do the data entry for me? Who can do this outreach for me? Who can submit to music festivals for me? Who can be that virtual assistant that I need, instead of trying to always figure out how can I do this? Because again, that mindset for us as independent artists is, oh, I got to wear all these hats, I got to do all these things. And we only have so much time, and we can only stretch ourselves so far, because we have so many other things going on in our lives as well. So I just want to use this episode to kind of encourage you to start to think about that. Like, how can you start to even take those small steps as a business owner, as a musicpreneur, and start to look at who can get things done on your behalf, instead of always looking at maybe necessarily how you can do it. So I hope this episode has served you. I want to do a new thing as well. I've just set up an email for the show. So if you have any questions about a topic, or if there's something you'd like to cover, maybe we could cover on a show, you can email me at questions@indiemusiciansecrets.com. I'll also drop the email in the show notes as well. That's questions@indiemusiciansecrets.com. And who knows, maybe we'll talk about your topic or your question on one of these episodes of the show. So again, hope this episode serves you. Go out, check out Fiverr, start to bring people, start to create that team for yourself so that you can get things done faster, take control of your music career, and start to really have a business approach to your music. Okay. So we'll talk to you guys on the next one. God bless. And yeah, we'll see you when we see you. I'll see you when I see you. All right, y'all. Peace. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the Indie Musician Secrets podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. Also, share this episode with other indie musicians you think it would be beneficial for. And for more helpful resources to help you grow your music business, visit us at businessmindedmusicians.com. I hope this episode has served you. We'll talk to you on the next episode.